And now, more important updates on COVID-19 from Edge of Wonder. Why did so many CEOs resign so suddenly? Could they have been preparing for something big about to happen? Or were they manipulated victims of a much greater, darker agenda? And what about Bill Gates donating millions to China? But was it really to combat the virus or something else? Are certain people more immune and others less affected? And what is the actual target of this virus? And what about vaccines? Good or bad? Help or hurt? And have there been any prophecies from decades to even centuries ago that told us just what was coming? All this and more on Edge of Wonder.
Hi everyone, welcome to Edge of Wonder. We're your hosts. I'm Ben.
And I'm Rob. So since so much info on the coronavirus is coming out each day, and to save time in editing and writing, we're gonna just go ahead and jump into this.
Yeah, so we're still presenting this in our own Edge of Wonder way, but we want to get this information out as fast as possible, so, this may not be as sleek and souped up as our normal episodes.
Ben, what are you talking about? We are the epitome of sleek, my friend. All right, well anyway, what we mean is we want to focus on the info that we found out and a lot of new information on the coronavirus which came directly out of Wuhan to someone we personally know.
Yes. So we can't get into any more details for safety reasons, but remember, people still have landlines. Remember those things you can call?
Yeah, the cords, I think.
So here's the info that was relayed to us by someone in Wuhan to someone that we personally know, a friend of ours.
1. Of the people who passed away in Wuhan, about 60% of the people passed away at home, which aren't being counted in the official tally of deaths by the CCP.
2. There are no places to put the bodies of the dead. People are leaving corpses outside their homes, but they aren't being collected. A lot of dead bodies are actually still in the street.
3. It truly feels like hell on earth. No food available. The Chinese people there have the same feeling as the Cultural Revolution during the 70s. People are losing hope and going to extremes. People are locked in their homes and they're left to die, actually.
Yeah. 4. The Chinese Communist Party has been underreporting all of it and downplaying all of the stuff related to the virus. If they keep it up till March, their economy may be destroyed.
5. Most of the internet is shut down, though there are pockets where the internet does work. Most people in Wuhan can't use the net and are not able to get any videos or info out. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Censorship? Some neighborhoods do have some access though.
6. People need to travel in secret to get to other areas because they have to be from that area to get there. Meaning if they're from another village or area, they can't go to another village or area because they're not from that area. We are told that some people have found ways to travel and are bringing food, water, along with news articles from overseas to other areas in Wuhan. Citizens are trying to help each other as much as possible.
Okay, I have to warn everyone, this is where it gets really hard to hear and some of the worst things you will ever hear probably related to the virus.
Number 7. Wuhan opened 20 new crematoriums and need to have more staff to manage them. A requirement to work there? Get this. You must not be afraid of ghosts and demons. This is seriously stated on the employment forms. Why?
Whoa! So they're telling people it's because the bodies will sometimes move or seem to give off a scream, which they say is air escaping from the bodies. Now, this is a very similar thing that was going on with the vampire scare back in the 14 and 1500s.
Well, what they're really doing and what these sounds are, they're burning people alive who have the virus in Wuhan. So people are screaming when they get tossed in, and the CCP is saying, oh, it's just air escaping.
So yet not vampires, real live people.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were told that now the CCP just wants to clean up Wuhan and just burn anyone who has the virus or let them die.
In other words, if you have the virus in Wuhan, most are being killed off because they have the virus and not of the virus. So does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah, no.
So if you do have the virus, they would rather kill you than have you infect more people. Even if it is possible, you could be cured. But this isn't happening to everyone, but just more general sense this is happening.
That is crazy. The ecosystem in Wuhan is completely ruined. Many residents believe the CCP has written off Wuhan as a loss and would rather destroy it than help it. All the high-level officials in Wuhan left before the outbreak was announced. Low-level officials are now getting the virus.
Now, this is 100% an engineered bioweapon, and we'll get into more of the specifics of that later. Some people believe this was designed to target Asian genes, and specifically the Chinese people. Wuhan is still the worst for the outbreak and deaths. Not as many areas in China are nearly affected as Wuhan, but what's weird is no one really understands why.
Hebei province was where Tai Chi was founded. Wuhan is the capital of Hebei. During the Cultural Revolution, the CCP destroyed all temples, monasteries, and statues.
Yeah, also the live organ harvesting of Falun Gong practitioners, along with underground Christians and many minority groups, was born out of Wuhan. Actually, in the book World War Z, about the zombie apocalypse, the virus spreads to other countries by the black market trade that came out of China.
Of organs.
Of organs.
Yeah. So actually, they had this in the movie, but removed it for the Chinese censors because, China just paid them or threatened them.
Yeah.
So it turned out the movie was declined anyway in China, so their movie never explains the origin of the outbreak, even though the book clearly does.
We also heard a personal story from someone we know who has family in Wuhan. Some of the people there are so brainwashed that they believe the CCP will actually save them and help them.
So the story we heard is from a Chinese woman we know personally. She said that there are people who believe so much in the CCP and the lies they say that one family refused to do anything but follow the guidance of the CCP.
Her family in Wuhan tried to warn this other family of the danger, but they didn't believe them and said that the CCP must have it under control because, it's the CCP. Why would they lie?
Right. So about a week later, someone in this family got the virus and believed they would be fine. Within 3 weeks, 4 of their family members died. And at this point, it was the most painful lesson for them to realize that the CCP has been lying to them for years. And unfortunately, it was their family that paid the price.
Yeah, now we aren't trying to create a panic or spread fear by any means at all. Everything we've discussed is only happening in Wuhan. The main issue is the lack of transparency from China and how they are not helping their own citizens or getting the information public or even overseas about the truth about what's happening.
So China is barely allowing US doctors and scientists to study this, and now that it is starting to affect different parts of the world, it seems something weird is going on.
So we also had a friend just come back from Seoul, Korea, and she said that Seoul has been shut down. The markets are shut down and most of the shopping areas are too, but people are supporting each other and helping each other out as much as they can.
So now in the US, the mainstream media went from China has everything under control to now we're all going to die. Why though?
Yeah. The mainstream media's purpose is not to give information, but to control and push a narrative and to sell advertising.
To be frank.
Yeah, especially CNN. In fact, I talked to 2 people. One of them was a very close friend of mine who worked at CNN in their marketing department, and it was all about getting eyeballs, which equals dollar signs.
Okay, it should be a concept everyone here is familiar with. So disasters, catastrophes, pandemics generate more eyeballs on that 24-hour news station, and the more eyeballs, the more money comes in from ads.
Yep. Also in Wuhan and other areas in China, like we said before, a lot of people are dying not because of the virus, but they're being killed off because they have the virus.
Yeah, so meaning instead of helping the sick, the CCP is aiding and killing the people who are sick to stop the spread of the virus.
Yeah.
Great strategy. Horrible.
Really. This would never happen in the US. In Western society, our government is really wanting to help our sick, not kill them. Well, unless you were the deep state and pharmaceutical companies, then
all right.
Maybe.
Ben had to go there.
Yeah.
Anyway, this brings us to the whole point of our entire healthcare system. It's like they want to keep us sick to make money off of us than to make us better. There is no money with a healthy person. That is the conspiracy theory, whether you believe that or not.
Yeah. Also, everyone is arguing over the healthcare industry. But to me, this conversation is pretty futile. Instead of using crappy drugs and methods that practically kill us, why aren't we pushing for total cures? So didn't Joe Biden even say that if he was elected, he would bring the cure to cancer to the public?
He also said today, I was watching some video of him where he's talking about how Trump cut taxes, and he's like, well, if you elect me, I'm gonna raise taxes. I don't know what that guy's doing. So then, why wait till you're elected, Uncle Joe? Just bring it out now, and the people will support you, right? Also, doesn't that show that he knows cures truly exist? I mean, it could.
Yeah, well, and going on that as well, I mean, he did say the other day that half the population died of gun violence in 2007.
150 million people.
150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability. More than all the wars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that's scary.
The documentary you've been waiting for.
There's some amazingly advanced technologies.
A lot of technology that could help is being held back.
Are you ready for it?
The technology that we know and love today, such as the internet, our smartphones, it's all derived from extraterrestrial technology that did not originate on Earth at all.
They also had help from extraterrestrials as well.
Making connections.
MK Ultra was another top secret operation in the US. The question is, was this the real reason why he was killed? Was Lee Harvey Oswald just a scapegoat?
With humans and technology.
These advanced technologies are being built and used in order to create a larger network to keep control over the population of this planet.
This is why this is such a critical time as far as technology goes.
So this brings up a really important question.
What is the purpose?
I had got poisoned a year and a half ago, and then I had like shooting pains in my lymph nodes that in my neck right here and under my armpits, and he had said, you have no idea what I'm capable of. But he was right, I had no idea what he was capable of.
All is revealed.
The total body of information that we have on the secret space program is quite incredible. It is truly the greatest secret of the globalist elite.
We're kind of, as a human race, caught in the middle.
The technology is out there, and we don't know anything about it.
But I believe that there are good people within the military and even our government who truly want the truth to be known.
The Old World Order, Episode 1, Part 2. Coming soon.
Anyway, speaking of cures, Trump mentioned too that he wants to end cancer and bring out cures. So what is actually going on here?
Well, this leads back to why and how this virus was released. Now, surprisingly, a few different media, like the New York Times actually, and the New York Post, caught something that most people would overlook.
Now, you have to remember, when Xi Jinping, or any leader before him, speaks publicly, it is very long-winded, boring, dry, and full of party jargon. But there are usually things between the lines.
Yes, in this case, Xi Jinping said this as stated in the New York Post article. Quote, a national system to control biosecurity risks must be put in place to protect the people's health because lab safety is a national security issue.
Okay, so now this is reading between the lines, but the question is, if this came from a bat, why was he stressing the lab safety? But the real kicker is what the Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology released, a new directive titled Instructions on Strengthening Biosecurity Management in Microbiology Labs that Handle Advanced Viruses like the Novel Coronavirus. What?
Okay. Did the dude just admit that this virus came from a lab? I mean, that's what he was saying. Well, it sure sounds like it. And what is more, the People's Liberation Army's top expert in biological warfare, Major General Chen Wei, was sent to Wuhan at the end of January to help with the effort to contain the outbreak.
Now, according to the PLA Daily, quote, Chen has been researching coronaviruses since the SARS outbreak of 2003, as well as Ebola and anthrax. This would not be her first trip to the Wuhan Institute of Virology either, since it is one of only 2 bioweapons research labs in all of China, unquote. Yes, you heard it here, she's a woman.
And they just used the term bioweapons.
They sure did.
That PLA Daily, which is like the People's Public Liberation Army straight out of China, just said the word bioweapon in official press release. It's from their general. Yes, it's not a research center. They actually said bioweapon research lab. I mean, seriously, you can't make this stuff up.
And I mean, I'm happy to quote the New York Post here saying, quote, "Does that suggest to you that the novel coronavirus, now known as SARS-CoV-2, may have escaped from that very lab, and that Chen's job is to try to put the genie back in the bottle, as it were, it does to me," unquote. Whoa.
It's a pretty good article. Also, the CCP has admitted that the SARS virus has escaped not only once, but twice from the Beijing lab where it was being used in experiments. Both of these near epidemics were contained, but that brings up a huge question of safety precautions and what kind of environment these labs have.
But this isn't the most shocking. What is more insane is that just to make a few bucks on the side, some Chinese researchers sell off their laboratory animals to street vendors after they have finished experimenting on them. Anyone for some China street meat? Holy cow!
Yeah, it gets worse. Yes, this stuff is actually happening. No joke. There is one Beijing scientist who is now in jail in China for making millions of dollars selling his lab monkeys and rats in the live animal market, which probably ended up in someone's poor belly. It's so ridiculous that it's.
So even though we still don't know if this was released on purpose or accident, the result is that the old leader, who we mentioned in our previous video, Jiang Zemin, who is the super evil bad dude, will use this to go after Xi Jinping and the world.
Since we know Jiang controls Wuhan and Shanghai, it means that most of the high-ranking officials are still loyal to Jiang in these cities. So, for example, if Xi Jinping asked the military or more doctors to go help Wuhan, Jiang would just need to say, delay that order, and no one would actually go and help out. By the time they would, a lot of people would have died, or worse things would have happened in the community and in cities.
Or Jiang would order the police to go in and arrest people who have the virus, or even kill those who have it. Wouldn't arresting them get them the virus? Okay, anyway, this would make Xi Jinping look really bad, but Xi Jinping could never say anything or everyone would know he doesn't have complete control of China. So he's actually fighting this in secret, if that makes sense.
But honestly, he doesn't realize that if he ended the CCP and brought in democracy, he would actually be looked at as a hero. If the world truly found out what is going on and he didn't do anything about it, he would actually become the scapegoat.
Now, to help you guys understand this, basically the most important principle in the commie tyranny guidebook is not looking weak and looking that you're constantly in control. So the things you say publicly can never be looking like you're weak or that you don't have that control, or else everyone will swarm in and just basically eat you alive.
Exactly. And there's still a lot of officials working with Xi Jinping who are still loyal to Jiang Zemin, the old leader, the evil dude. And so it's creating an issue right now where Xi Jinping doesn't know who's on his side.
And I just want to point out that this is their communist utopia. Rule of the jungle. Socialism and communism. Okay, so we mentioned in our last episode that Bill Gates hasn't done anything aside from giving money to Pearbright, who has a patent over a strain of the animal coronavirus.
However, since the filming of our last episode, turns out he did do something just a few days ago. Although I still don't know where this money is going to and what it will actually do.
But he helped donate $100 million to China to help combat this. And Xi Jinping wrote him a personal thank you letter. These are two people I wouldn't trust with my life, really, so I highly doubt if any of that money will actually do anything for people in China, save for going in some people's pockets who are trying to get out of there right now.
Yes, I'm sure it's like, oh, we'll take this, yeah, and whatever left over.
Important to note, we don't have anything to substantiate that, but this is how this whole system works.
But we will pretty soon coming up. There. So yeah, about the World Health Organization. Got some interesting information on that. But anyway, now just this past month, there has been a lot of CEOs' resignations from huge companies like Disney, Bear, MasterCard, Victoria's Secret, Hulu, Uber Eats, IBM, MGM Resorts, LinkedIn, and Salesforce.
Some of the biggest corporations in the world.
All in 1 month. This is nuts. This is just as big news as the coronavirus itself. So the big question is, why did they step down?
It was like the day basically after Harvey Weinstein got put away and all of this stuff is
It
going
sure is.
Okay, it almost seems like these high-level execs know what will happen, and to protect their investments and wealth, they are fleeing from their jobs and perhaps the stock market in mass exodus.
But is it all of this from the coronavirus, fearing their own stock will go down? Or could it be that they have been given deals by our military and maybe the Trump administration, such as you tell everything you know, who you've been working with and all the corruption, and we won't arrest you, but we'll just force you to retire.
So since Trump came into office, to put this into perspective, more than 3,000 CEOs and officials have resigned from their posts. So to us, this really seems like deals are being made here. But what about all of these sell-offs, such as Bezos selling nearly 10 billion, etc.?
So according to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, CEOs can't easily sell their shares as an executive. It's very limited to when the executives can sell their shares and how many shares they can sell. They can only sell shares if they quit.
So that makes sense. Also, every time a government declares their alert status on the CDC to red, yellow, or blue, it affects their tourism, their trade, and their economy.
See where all this is going? Why would supposedly unrelated executives quit in record numbers and sell off their shares, leading to the coronavirus and then after?
So here's an analogy to put things into perspective. In a chess game, the pawns get taken out first, right? Then comes the bishops, the knights, and the rooks. It's not really till the end that we see the high-level characters getting taken out by the checkmate.
Yes, so it seems we're in the process of checkmate, and all the deep state can do is hope the other side makes a mistake, delays them from making a move, or flip the table upside down like a selfish spoiled brat and run away. Which appears to be what they're doing related to this virus. Either they're using it as a way out, or I don't know, did they create it? This is the whole thing that we're trying to find out.
So then we hear in the media that the Pope may have gotten the virus. I'm calling that the Catholivirus.
Catholivirus.
And that the leader of Iran has it. Do they really have it? Or were they about to get arrested and they're using this as a way out? Or is he going to get arrested and they're just going to announce that he died? Kind of like Epstein. Potentially. I mean, that is one theory.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. He did just admit that priests held nuns as sex slaves, so the Catholic Church is about to be in a world of trouble very soon. In any case, it is curious that so many significant events are happening all at once. I mean, just in the last 2 months.
Right. And I mean, why would such a deadly man-made virus be released during the election year? Trump usually boasts about the strong economy his policies have bolstered. Market declines may also affect people's attitudes towards his re-election, right? So, is the deep state using this engineered coronavirus to take him out of office?
Okay. Hey guys, that's all we have time for this episode.
That's right. So tomorrow you can check back and we're going to have another episode just like last week where we did the same thing. Our editors are working around the clock to get this stuff out for you guys. So until next time,
we'll see you guys out
on the edge
of tomorrow again. We also just had a friend come back from Seoul, Korea, and she said...
Oh, I thought you meant South Korea. There's no
yeah,
comma.
I meant to put the comma
sorry.
there. Yeah, I knew I was reading it, and I was like, whatever.
I was like, man, he really screwed up the spelling of South there. It's actually Seoul.
That's funny.
All right, sorry.
No worries.